Music just cut out immediately. Hello, everybody. Thank you to all the people waiting in YouTube for like the last hour as we figured out how to get Terry home from Mayo Clinic. He got trapped in the Skyway. Elle had to figure out how to do TV stuff. And Cassidy Hetteserimer is the new women's sports czar. I think that's a title over at the Star Tribune. But that's who I got with me today. I'm Andrew Dukowitz. This is the Missing Links post-game live stream podcast thing.
Hey,
yo,
that's everybody.
Hey.
Elle Mohs from WCCO, Cassidy over at Star Tribune, and Terry Horstman from the 9 and Hitting the Hardwood. We are all here. We are all ready to talk Olivia Miles, and this is going to be a fun one. I guess I'll just kind of start going around the horn here in reverse order. Terry, what's kind of your first thought of draft night?
Well, Lindsay Whalen said Olivia Miles is already way better than she ever was, and Cheryl said this is the first real point guard they've had since Lindsay Whalen. So start getting banners ready, I guess. Just kidding. I'm not going there, guys. But I think it's a really exciting addition. The passing is astounding and something that you can't teach and can't coach. And I think the other parts of Olivia's game are coachable. So before I take all of the talking points, I will leave it at that. But big fan of Olivia Miles.
Yeah, Cassidy, what was your kind of first reaction when the pick came in?
I don't know. I guess I was originally maybe surprised. Obviously, I'd read a lot of mock draft projections and knew that, Miles is a popular player to land there with the Lynx, just based on, the things that Cheryl mentioned of sort of the generational skills is what the word that she used for passing and playmaking, and just those things that are, not easy to come by. And we see a lot of shooting guards converted into point guards in the league on the Lynx, that sort of thing. But just the fact that the Lynx were able to retain Courtney Williams and prioritize bringing her back, it made me think maybe there would be sort of a look elsewhere on the roster. But Cheryl said it afterwards in the media availability that with the number 2 pick, you're not just looking to fill out a roster, you're looking to take the best player available. And so in their eyes, that's what they did. And Miles has, a lot of those things that earn her that merit in their eyes.
Yeah, I'll be honest. I whiffed on this one. I thought all season they'd be drafting AZ Fudd, and if AZ went to Dallas, it would be our fam, and nothing else would really make sense. I gave all my reasons of like Cheryl and rookie point guards, yada yada yada. I'll be honest. None of my opinions matter because Cheryl's hit rate is ridiculous. Elle, what was kind of your initial reactions to it? And then I also want to give you the credit. You may have asked the 2 biggest questions from Lynx Media today. Cheryl, what do you think about the stupid fans that are saying you're dumb? Which she was very charming about.
Wow.
And
That's
number
not
2,
is that a direct quote, Andrew?
And then number 2, Elle asked Cheryl about Balloon Gate, and we do have an official answer that it must have been AI. So the joke lives on.
Oh my God. I learned my lesson to get my questions out first before you guys take all the good ones, and I'm left with the scraps. Okay, so my initial reaction was a little surprised. I just thought we needed height with the loss of Lan, and at the time I wasn't sure about Dorka 100%, and so I just was, and we know Fee's injured, so I just was like, okay, they're for sure gonna go for Awa or Lauren Betts. And I interviewed fans ahead of time. They were saying the same thing. So my first reaction was surprised, but then immediately settling into the decision, I'm so excited. I think having someone who's a true point guard, I did not realize it was the first time since Whalen. It makes sense why Cheryl made this move, and just seeing how like watching back all the highlights from TCU season this year with Miles, like the way she sees the floor, I'm so excited about that. I think she's gonna elevate everybody.
I know I'm already thinking like way far in advance, but I'm picturing like sort of how the Lynx had, really kind of capitalized on the pink hair, the stud buds thing, like the goggles. I don't know. That's just like, that's like, I'm jumping way ahead of sort of thinking on that type of, imagery that like fans can connect to. But like, I just think that kind of goes with like, she's a player that's fun to watch and very distinctive in the way that she plays. And just, yeah, some of those, there was a pass, gosh, what game was it that they were playing? It must've been their, I don't know if it was their Elite 8 game or Sweet 16, but she was at the top of the kind of the free throw line and kind of dished like a behind the back, just like scoop pass up to the top of the key. I remember just sort of being like, oh, right. Boy, but yeah, no.
She's fully ambidextrous when it comes to passing too. Like when you see the one arm passes, like right, left, doesn't change anything. Some of those one-handed passes are ridiculous, and it's like there's like stupid highlights how excited they are. So a lot of that for the next month before real games start.
I mean, I kind of agree with you, Cassidy, of like it does kind of fit the new vibe of the Lynx. Like I think for a very long time the Lynx were kind of this just hard nosed, you kind of have to get to know people to understand the personalities. Like Maya Moore was more reserved. Waylon was funny and a little out there, but more reserved with the Lynx. Simone, Kent has told us how many times that Moan never talked to anyone. Like Syl was not a huge talking person. And really in the last 2 years, we've kind of gotten this much more like vulnerable, open, fun Lynx team where like personalities shine. And like, honestly, the flashy passing, the goggles, I will be calling them rec specs for the entire season, by the way. That's just they were rec specs before they were goggles. So I will be continuing to call them rec specs. But like Amanda has a good point. Goggles on Prowl. Like I do think they are kind of going all in on this kind of just personality team.
Let's get it started. I'm ready. I'm ready.
Oh my god. What is that?
Did this work?
Where did you even? Is that why you were late? You're going to
This is why I was late. No, actually, these have been sitting in my office ever since the All-Star break when the Atlanta Dream sent them out.
Right.
So these are Alicia Gray goggles, so I will take them off, but they were sitting in here. And right when I saw Ben Wagner say, when is the goggles giveaway, I was like, well, I've got some right here, but they feel a little goofy. So I'll wait till I get my Olivia Miles pair. I think you had a real question in there, Andrew.
Goggles on Prowl. I decide what is the real questions, and it's goggles on Prowl.
Prowl will for sure have some goggles on. And I thought Prowl had a great reaction at the draft party to the pick, as well as it seemed like the room. I mean, maybe they would have gone crazier for Fam or Betts, but there wasn't like any kind of dissension that I could tell. I didn't stay much longer. I stayed for Janelle McCarville chatting with our friend Sloan Martin. But it seemed like a pretty good, set rate of approval from the fans in attendance at Target Center. Maybe they're being nice because they're scared of Cheryl, but I don't know.
There was one. Go ahead, Cass.
No, you start. You were actually interviewing some fans.
Yeah, I was talking to a couple fans, and of course the ones that were bummed that we didn't draft a big didn't want to go on camera. But one told me off camera that they just said that they're really worried about Fee getting beaten up, and even more than she already is. Like, she's fragile, and knowing her, she'll want to come back too quickly from this injury. And they were saying, like, I wanted someone else so that Fee doesn't always have to be working so hard in the paint. And so they were just like, they were just saying they were worried.
Abby mentions that in the Discord, and I will also say the Los Lynx Twitter chat, group chat, I think that's what they're called. There was like a very hardcore crash out for like 20 minutes in both of those. And then I think as soon as Cheryl started talking, everybody got on board with it of like, oh yeah, Cheryl says she's good. Like in Cheryl we trust. But Cassidy, what were you gonna say?
Oh, I was gonna say, like, I mean, I think as someone who, like, obviously I'm not betting money on sports. I'm a sports journalist. Like, I don't do that.
Better not be.
You
Don't
know,
tell
if I had
Travis.
to, oh gosh, sorry. Yeah, that's not a that's more so me and the and my anyway. But like, if I had to put something on it and and thought, oh, maybe a big, I mean, I think that it's sort of right, like this preconceived like need of like, oh, looking at the roster, like what isn't there, and it's like, oh well, we've got a starting point guard coming back. But I think now that we have confirmed Dorka back,
Shout out Cassidy.
and
He asked the
Pelletier,
question. Everybody give
that,
Cassidy credit on that one because she
like
did
this
ask it.
off season of being like, she's on contract. Like, I don't know why, but anyway, so that's expected to be back, Reeves said. But then, bringing in Tasha Howard, obviously, more of a four as well, but like, and we've seen some players called into training camp that are intriguing sort of prospects to see. And I thought the question I think you asked about international scouting was kind of interesting. We could get into that eventually, but I don't know. I think that again, kind of circling back to that point that Cheryl made about, taking the best overall pick. I mean, we haven't seen the Lynx play with a true center in a while. Same with a true point guard. And, obviously Sylvia Fowles was like 4-time defensive player of the year, and they had a lot of success like in that style as well. But I guess, this is just me projecting, but like, if you're the coaching staff and, Cheryl talked about feeling like there were 2 players in the draft that had generational talent. If you don't think that there is somebody there with that, using that pick on there, like, why reshape your whole playing style to fit someone that you don't necessarily think reaches that bar, when there is someone that does, that maybe fits what you're looking for more. What they do to fill those spots with confidence, like, that'll be interesting. But yeah, just not through the draft, it seems.
Yeah, I think you make a really good point. Like, I think, the generational talents, like Terry and I kind of suspected it was Fam and Miles that she was talking about there. And Betts, like, if they would have went Betts, that is what they'd have to do. Like, now you're playing an offense where you have a center that doesn't have a lot of range and kind of needs touches on the block to get herself going. And on defense, I mean, you're kind of playing a drop scheme. Like, Betts is not a switch everything defender. Like, she's a very good rim protector and rebounder, but like, this Lynx team, part of the charm is they switch everything and they play fast, which I think you're changing part of that with Betts. Like, Fam, I think at least my case for it was like lump of clay, really good passer, has 3-point range, really athletic, 6'5" all of that stuff, but she's also 19. Like, in Miles, you're getting somebody that's probably a little closer to win now. And with the kind of big 3 that this team has of K-Mac, Court, and Fee, they kind of do have to take swings still to win now. And I think Miles fits those 3 really well, which Ben asks in the chat, and I'll throw this one over to you, Terry, but just, do we see Courtney move to the 2 and K-Mac slide to the 3 in this kind of new iteration? Reeve had her answer of like, no, but I wonder what your thoughts are, because I do think you're going to have to play those 3 together, right?
In the short term, yeah. I mean, the 3 of them are going to play together. Yes. Is Courtney moving to the 2? No. Are there 2 ones on the court at the same time? Yes. Is this getting confusing? Probably. So I think it'll be really interesting to see the type of lineup flexibility that they get to play with here. So I don't know that like that positionless basketball will kind of maybe apply to the 2 and the 3 more. I think looking at the roster today, you really gotta hope Ola's development is rising and you can play her at the 3 a little bit. I do think we are underrating Dorka, who, it needs to be mentioned, is a finalist for your league MVP right now, in the final 6. So like, she literally couldn't be playing better overseas. And I think she's your starting center in game 1 on May 10th. And you can kind of figure out the rest of it. I don't know that we did see Miles in the starting lineup, though. Reeve did answer you directly, Andrew, about this idea of her not playing rookies and, rookie point guards and things. I think Miles will get a ton of minutes. I don't know if that is game 1 starter. But Courtney is a versatile player, and there were a lot of, fun things that they did with her and T on the floor simultaneously. And I think they'll try to recreate that. K-Mac at the 3, you probably don't want her at the 3 full time, but there wasn't anything last year that makes me think K-Mac can't defend a lot of threes, at least capably, at least above averagely. She's still a world-class defender. So yeah, they'll do that, and then they'll do other stuff. So it'll be interesting to see what they do when they can go small, and God willing, Fee's not out as long as Ryan Ruocco said that she's out. Another funny soundbite from the night that we don't need to talk about, I guess. But
there's some times where Cheryl, you got to throw her the alley-oop because you just know she's gonna dunk the answer home. And like that Ryan Ruocco one was just like, Cheryl, I trust you on this one.
Right. Shout out Abby for listing all of the non-true point guards. If Crystal Dangerfield's not a true point guard, I don't know what position she plays. But that's my rookie of the year. Crystal Dangerfield, it needs to be said.
Out of 6 years, like there's not a lot of true point guard that logged the most minutes at point guard for this team, which. For audio listeners, Odyssey, Sims, Dangerfield, Clarendon, Jefferson, Allen, and then Court the last 2 years. Like I
like Mariah Jefferson.
Odyssey's still not signed to a team, I don't think.
Right.
That checks out, I think.
Yeah.
Based off of,
Right. That's fine. But yeah, I think
seems like Odyssey might have rubbed some people the wrong way.
No, I'm not saying here specifically, but just if we're making comments about names, I saw that one.
Elle, I did want to ask you though, because Terry brings up a good point of they kind of have to hope Ola is just developed a little bit because they don't have any small forwards on this roster.
Laney White.
Maybe one of the Czech players or the Welsh. They're Welsh in Belgium, right?
No,
the Welsh
Flemish.
woman.
No, Welsh.
She's Belgian, which means possibly Flemish.
Where are Welsh from? Netherlands?
Welsh?
Dutch. That's what it is.
Oh,
maybe the Dutch woman.
God, we need to get you a geography.
Dutch is Netherlands.
Terry,
the Lynx didn't sign anyone from the Netherlands or Wales. They signed 2 players from Czechia.
The amount
a player from Belgium, coached by Mike Thibault, father of Eric Thibault.
Don't bring any geography trivia competition.
Here's the thing: if you need a
Western European geography is not hard.
I'm
Sorry
your guy.
If I'm being an asshole. I'm not trying.
If you need a catheter inserted or an IV set, I'm your guy. If
Belgian.
You need to know European countries, go anywhere else, literally anywhere else. I'm not going to be able to help. Moral of the story, though, Elle, they don't have a small forward. Are you
Laney White
about that right now?
Yeah, there we go. Yeah, I am concerned about that, and I don't know. I really am anxious to see how much Ola's developed, and mostly less so in her skills. We know she's got it, but just the confidence on the court. I hope that she comes in this season fired up and not playing so timid. Yeah, I am for sure concerned.
Terry does mention that Laney White is a small forward. We technically do have a small forward.
Right. Well, you can play Coffee at the 3.
Can Coffee not play the 3? That's what I thought.
Yeah, Coffee can
that
play the 3
was kind of my that was kind of
Coffee can
my
play the
thought.
three.
The last live stream was Coffee could play some 3, but that got not so great reviews just because of her shooting, and she is a little bigger. But I will continue to say she's a 40% 3-point shooter in LA. Like, that's 4 years ago, but it's not like she's going to be developing a shot. Like, she shot 40% on good volume 4 years ago. Like, there's something there. I'm just anxious about the small forward and the center. Like, I think this team is just going to play a lot of weird lineups, which for the chaos of the WNBA is good, but I don't know like how that's going to translate. I mean, Cassie, what's your thoughts on it though?
I mean, two things. That I think that and this is something that I've been, reading about and different stuff of, I think that players like assuming she gets a sizable payday, and K-Mac and Core are like really only, well, I guess Howard's contract is, a decent size as well, but sort of that the Lynx may have a little more flexibility than some teams that, could end up really increasing the sort of chunk of a salary cap that a player is taking up. And then, if they do look to change things up later in the season, not have that flexibility. I mean, we saw the Lynx make a lot of moves last year to shore up things going into playoffs and, bring in, like, it's interesting looking back, like writing about last season, the roster turnover between last season and this season, and kind of looking at the opening day roster, and Masha wasn't on that roster, and Dejanay obviously wasn't on that roster. So I think that it'll be interesting to kind of see where they start. It'll be hard because they won't have Fee, right? So like, no matter how many different lineups and rotations they play, you're not going to have like the finished product until she's back. But I don't know. I'll be interested to see some of these, international prospects, players that come in. I mean, looked at film that looks good. Obviously, we'll see how that matches up when they're playing in the WNBA. But there are some teams like the Mercury, which Minnesota has learned very well. We're able to get a lot out of those players, in their rotation after some of their stars. So I don't know. I think it'll be interesting. I mean, I don't know. I wasn't here ahead of the 2024 season, but I don't know. Like, was some of the rhetoric similar to that? With sort of the roster of being like, I don't know. I think they'll be 9th in the league, and then they're
for national media. It was.
Yeah, I think that was my first year on the beat was 2023, and like that was also my first year watching the Lynx since Maya Moore left, which, sorry, when Maya Moore checked out, I checked out as well, and then kind of re-jumped in 2023 in the hardest of ways. But like, I took a lot of cues from like Terry and Kent, which like you two were both even dangerous. Like in training camp day one, like this team's gonna be like a good playoff team.
You meant 2024, Andrew. You said 2023, which is a way different year in terms of
2024. Sorry. So like
expectations and the things that happened.
So 2024 was the year that it was like, I think national media was pretty down on like the Land and Court like signings. It was kind of undecided on what they would look like.
Well, they weren't really down on it, because to be down on it, they would have had to have acknowledged it, which they didn't really do. So the Lynx were kind of just like this team chilling in the middle of the country, and they would occasionally get mentioned and be like, oh, you got a championship coach. Is anything going to happen again? And yeah, it was a good roster that, the pieces all fell together. It would be hard to imagine that happening in the exact same way and as successfully. But I think there's reasons to be concerned. The 3, interesting. We'll see if they make other moves. I'm less concerned about center. If Dorka gets hurt, then sure. But especially Natasha Howard can play center. She played center like all last season for Indy and was crucial to Indy's success that they had last year. All 44 games and the Commissioner's Cup final, of which she was the MVP of, really working the Lynx at Target Center. Sorry to remind you of that, Lynx fans. Painful memory. So going into the draft, I think it was fair to say they felt better about their contingent of bigs than their contingent of littles. So
yeah,
they got the real power little in Olivia Miles, and I think they may have one in Emma Chekova, this 6'5" Czech player, who was All-Star 5 FIBA World Cup qualifying, has played professionals, and oh my god.
I remember Shelby. Oh gosh.
I was horrified when Red Panda fell. That is like a core memory that when I am traumatic old and dementia riddled in a nursing home, I will relive at night. Like that
was awful. I'm glad she's back.
Yeah, that was awful.
I hope she comes back.
Me too. I don't blame her if she never does again, but me too. I hope she comes back. I'm going to throw us over to a couple ad reads here, and then when we come back, I do kind of want to get like a sense of where you guys think the Lynx will kind of wind up this season, just sight unseen, because there is a lot of like doom on social media right now. Of like,
is there? Really?
Twitter and Discord have been getting pretty dark in those groups.
I don't pay attention.
I don't mean to throw you guys under the bus, but like there's been some like we need to just throw away this season. We're wasting a year of Fee's prime talk. So I do want to let's have a positive segment here. But first ads.
That was the
Well, hello. Thank you, Livestream Andrew. This is Ad Read Andrew. And today we have Firehawk Construction and Remodeling, the presenting sponsor for the Missing Links podcast. Firehawk Construction and Remodeling strives to inspire people to follow their ideas, working with respect and understanding to create a quality, tailored result. Firehawk Construction and Remodeling, located in Blaine and serving in the North Metro area, is here to help you with your building and remodeling needs. I can say personally, thanks to Firehawk Construction and Remodeling, I have a beautiful deck in my backyard and countless projects that I started, they finished. Get started on your new deck or remodel today by calling Isaac at 763-710-5686. And we're back with another ad read. This time for Pence Homes, the presenting sponsor of Hitting the Hardwood Network. From the best tools and technology to transparency throughout the entire process, Nate Pence and the Pence Homes team is the top choice for buyers, sellers, and is proud to support you and your home ownership goals. Get started today by calling 612-308-1122 or by emailing info@pencehomes.com. All right, shout out to Isaac over at Firehawk and Nate Pence. You guys are awesome. But I'm going to just read a couple. Terry's gone. We lost Terry.
Yeah, bye, Terry.
The last thing I saw him do was take a swig of a soda, and now he's gone. If he's not back soon, we will be sending out a wellness check. But here are some of the comments that I have come across on Twitter pretty frequently. Diamond Miller, Alyssa Peely, it doesn't inspire much confidence to trust Cheryl here. In fact, the only draft that she's hit with in the last 5 years is Dorka. That's it. This team has no depth and their star is injured. They might as well punt the season. It's delusional to have hope. I think that's a little extreme, but Elle, where are you sitting at on this season right now?
Yeah, I think that's super extreme. I definitely don't think. Well, first off, I just at the end of the day, like, this team has proven time and time again that anytime Fee is out and injured, they can still win. And I know that we're missing players from that core that was continuing to win without Fee, but you still have K-Mac, who, God, I love her. The way she steps up when Fee's not there and like hustles for this team. I think she'll continue to do the same. And I don't think we should just totally throw in the towel, even if he's out for an extremely long amount of time this season. With Dorka back, it's exciting. And, you know, their coaching staff with McCarville joining the staff way back. I don't know, like taking all your champions and bringing them to your coaching staff. There's something to be said there. I don't think that we should poo-poo this team right off the bat, but they always do, and I think it fuels them at the same time.
Yeah, I think they enjoy the locker room material. I agree with you. Like, this is going to be a playoff team. K-Mac and Court are both all-stars. Like, you have 2 all-stars and maybe the EuroLeague MVP. That's probably enough to be better than, like, Seattle. I don't know. I think they're going to be fine. Cassidy, where are you sitting at, though?
I think, I don't know. I'm always someone, and like, you know, maybe this is right, maybe this is wrong, of sort of like go in with like, I want to say like low expectations, but go in with like sort of realistic, like, I don't know, whatever that means, and then sort of like be impressed if it's better than that. I think that, you know, I think playoffs is like reasonable. I mean, we saw teams like, you know, Golden State make the playoffs. I mean, even the Lynx in that 2023 year where they were 19 and 23 made the playoffs. I know the league is bigger now, but you know that there are a lot of teams that make it, and we see teams like Seattle take the Aces to you know, a decent series, and but I don't know. I think depth might be one of my big concerns right now. And then sort of the other thing being that if we get through, you know, the beginning of the season, and obviously there's kind of that idea, right, of like get to our fees back. And, you know, if that happens and things are still kind of shaky, there's sort of that idea of it's not necessarily a young team. Like, they're not necessarily in the throes of a rebuild in the way that like Seattle is very obviously sort of made their signaling for, like Washington with a lot of young players. But, you know, Miles is part of that, you know, and a lot of these like Dorka, Ola. So I don't know. I think when you have, like you guys were saying, when you have players like Fee eventually, like K-Mac, like Court, who, yeah, are all-star, you know, have been all-stars, have played at that level, like you're never going to be truly like counted out. But yeah, I'll be interested to see like how the roster shakes out with training camp, if they can bring anyone else in. Just sort of that depth to me will be the big thing at like 3. Yeah, I don't know, just some of those things that we kind of touched on at the beginning. But I don't know. I feel like I always take the middle of the road stance on everything. So that's me.
I will say that I may not know where the Welsh live. However, I do know that helium is on a shortage right now, but hopium isn't in this household. I'm pointing down for the audio. Don't you wow my clever pun. I just think of this Lynx team of like, if Fee comes back fully healthy, that is the defensive player of the year that shot 50, 40, 90 with 20 points a game. Just get into the playoffs and then have Fee healthy, and you're a sprained Sabrina ankle away from being in the finals. I mean, I don't know.
A little more than that, but
yeah,
like,
okay,
assuming Atlanta and Vegas have to, I will not be playing GeoGuessr, Abby. I apologize. But like, assuming Atlanta and Vegas play each other and have to deal with each other on one side of the bracket, and like the Lynx are the 4-5, get to deal with New York on the other, like there is a path. I think I just struggle to see how this team is going to be like significantly worse than they were 2 years ago. I think last year is like unreal expectation. That was maybe the best regular season team in the history of the W. The stats at least kind of say that. But 2 years ago, like this was a team that was kind of still figuring it out. They had new pieces. They had injuries throughout that season. And like a fully healthy Fee is a really good basketball player.
Right. Like I would love to see them push off Fee's return as much as they can so that she can come back on the second half of the season her strongest.
And like if you're getting a court who has improved each of the last 2 seasons, K-Mac is still an all-star caliber. Dorka coming back, even if she gives you like 12 and 7, you get Fee back healthy. Olivia Miles is fine. Like, I think there's a path. But Terry, there was a lot of, I'm not going to say eye rolling because we're very small on screens, but I feel like you had some disagreements.
Oh no, I've just been no matter how many times I say I shouldn't read the comments, I'm having a blast just reading all of the comments tonight. Lynx fans are really bringing
live stream comments are delightful.
Well, where do I see the comments? Oh wait, I see
click on comments on the right side because it's like there's a private chat thing that's weird. So yeah.
Yes. Okay, this is my.
And then Andrew throws some on the screen, but we got popped. I can't remember. Like time is a flat circle. Shout out Matthew McConaughey in season 1 of True Detective, the best season of television maybe ever. But when we were talking about reasons to not panic, and someone said there's not a 3 on the roster, and you're talking about playoffs. I didn't see it till the end, but my response to there's not a 3 on the roster, and you're talking about playoffs. Playoffs is okay, Jim Mora. The second best player in the world is on the roster, and the soon-to-be all-time winningest coach is still guiding the roster. Yes, I am talking about an 8th place finish or better with just those 2. If Fee is out past August, then we'll readjust, but I don't imagine it's going to be 8 months on a 3 to 6 month prognosis that happened on January 1st. That was the first day of 2026, which has been a great year for roster movement. They'll figure it out, and it may not be pretty, but I think whoever mentioned, peaking, the worst thing we did last year was peaking too early, and we surely won't do that. Shout out Amanda H2V7U. That's accurate or
sort of
apt.
The reverse of last season, maybe.
So
the champions were bad in the beginning, and look at where
they were atrocious.
Yeah,
they were
500
so
team.
Even before that 1,000-point loss to the Lynx, they were so bad and like dreadful to watch. And
I was at Hinterland in Iowa with Shelby, who referencing an intern who covered the Lynx for us last year, and
Shelby
we were both
Swanson,
sitting there.
Shout out.
Shelby Swanson, yes, shout out. And we were like, we had that game pulled up, and we were like sitting there at this music festival, like watching it, and we were like, "What is going on?" Like, And then they were champions. So, yeah, man, yeah.
So we don't know anything.
Yuri adds they were so bad that we beat them by 53 points.
Right.
And that's.
I remember people joking that the Lynx woke the beast, and I was like, "Come on!" And
no, they were just stomping a team while they were down, which, like, fair. I just think there is a non-0% chance. Like, I do think the Lynx will probably open the season with like 5th best title odds, just from like pedigree and Fee coming back at some point.
Wait, from who?
I don't know if I would put it up that. I don't know. I feel like we're always higher on it.
Vegas odds are different than like most likely. Like I think New York, Vegas are 1, 2. I think Indiana and Atlanta is probably like 3, 4 in some order, and then it's probably the Lynx.
Those 2 teams paired together, shocking.
I'm just saying Vegas wise. Most of the year last year, Caitlin Clark was the MVP favorite.
Yeah, I was gonna ask you guys, like, do you think, obviously, like, we can look at kind of the Lynx roster in a vacuum, and compare it to last year's or whatever. But then, the fact that, like, I think that we're seeing teams get significantly stronger than they did last year. I'm trying to think of like teams that have seen a significant drop off. Obviously, free agency isn't like all the way finished. Phoenix still has to fill out some spots. They lost.
But it's diluted more.
But like, I don't know. It's like Chicago's gotten significantly better. Atlanta's gotten better, I would say, with the addition of Angel.
Chicago's gotten cooler. I don't know if they've gotten better.
Chicago's quick. I just want to answer Ben here. Knowing the national media, we will be at 12. For power rankings, yes. I think Vegas will have a lot of money coming in on the Lynx.
Look, Michael Vopel's not going to put this team at 12. Someone at ESPN might. And someone in, some other national newsroom somewhere might. And honestly, I love how Lynx fans love to freak out when that happens. Your response when you see that should be good, because no matter how many times they deny it, no matter how many times they say they don't think about it, that will be hanging in the Lynx locker room at Mayo Clinic Square, at the Target Center. There'll be a third laminated copy that they bring on the road and hang in their locker rooms on the road. They will spend every waking hour working to prove that wrong. And then we'll be the ones that media availability after practice will be like, yeah, cool that the media predicted us to be 12th when they're sitting in like second, and we'll get to do the thing where it was like, it wasn't me. And whoever's
Terry
dog just
like,
mentioned,
it wasn't me,
Hells,
and I'll be like, I'm media. Thank you.
Oh gosh, the one thing that I don't like to like call out too much like media stuff, because like all of our work is public too, and like I'm sure I have.
Really they're all our colleagues. It's all
our colleagues and stuff. But there was one thing that I think was funny, just because it was sort of like like Minnesota wishes type deal, but it was like a breakdown of all the player salaries of what the different salary levels could be and how much like different types of players could fit into it. And one of them was like talking about Lan, and they used her as like $600,000 per year as like an example. And I was like, yeah, Minnesota wishes probably that Lan was a $600,000 a year contract type player, because she got paid way more than that.
At time of recording, she signed the richest WNBA contract in the history of the sport. Like,
I thought that was Bridget. Or Bridget and Lan.
Bridget's only 1 year.
Oh, Bridget's.
Oh yeah,
I think Bridget's
1 year. Yeah, Lan signed a 3-year max. She's the only person to do that so far.
Wow, good for Lan.
So total.
I mean, honestly, like, I love Lan, but like,
Cortado is on you then, Lan.
Yeah, literally.
I do want to let's do one more thing before we get out of here, of just like, if we were collectively power ranking as a group, like, right, 1, 2, you can say New York, Vegas in that order, right? In some order.
Vegas,
New York
is 1.
I don't know. You guys keep going.
Yeah.
I mean, I'm not going to argue with you. I think they're like comparable enough where it's just like,
yeah, it's the champs, and then also there is some. New York didn't finish the season well, or didn't finish the playoffs well, and Satu is an incredible addition, but I think you can question the full season health of Stewart, and there's also just been so many health concerns with Sab in the last couple of years as well. So I don't even know if I put New York too.
BC did sign a 3-year contract. I was incorrect on that one. So
if
BC is
at least you were right about Wales.
748.
If you didn't put New York at 2, Terry, who would you put it to?
Who would I don't know. I think I was just kind of being I mean, it's like
I think Atlanta has a case.
Atlanta has a case, and maybe even Indiana has a case.
I mean, because Atlanta, what they finished 4?
Good.
Third.
No, three,
Third?
right? Because the
Fourth?
Lynx were the 1 seed, so then they were
Yeah.
playing Phoenix
And
4.
Angel fits what they do, and they're bringing everyone back, and they've got a great coach.
Yeah.
Atlanta's too.
Yeah, Atlanta's too.
Come at me, Liberty fans.
So
I don't know why
Atlanta's
you're on this live stream. But we just doing
if
this
you're a
together.
Liberty fan on a Lynx post
All right,
draft
fine.
live.
We'll put New
you're a
York at
diehard.
3.
New York 3.
Sure.
Because I do think there is a gap between like New York and Indiana, unless Caitlin Clark is just like otherworldly, which
We don't know.
we don't know. We haven't seen her really play basketball in a year.
In a while. Yeah.
So Indiana will go 4. Who's like that in that 5th, 6th spot then?
LA, Phoenix,
LA, Dallas,
Minnesota.
Phoenix.
How do you think about Golden State this year?
Golden State.
And
Yes,
obviously, they were in the playoffs. They had Gabby Williams. They had
Good coach.
bringing back Burton.
bringing back a lot of those same players. I think they'll be like they theoretically should be a playoff team.
I put Golden State 5. I would maybe even put Golden State ahead of Indiana, but
Really
keep them at 5.
interesting.
Yeah.
Indiana
I'm
played.
not willing to put Golden State ahead of Indiana, but I will hear the case if you would like to make one.
Name Indiana's best defensive player.
It's
It's
Boston?
Aaliyah Boston. Pretty incredible, but she can't guard 5 people.
Aaliyah Boston and then maybe Lexi Hull.
How do we think?
That's not good.
I'm looking at the chat. What do we think about like Dallas, and what do we think their ceiling is with the Lynx front court now?
So this is partially why the other day I was like, I think Dallas might be going Miles. Because there are a lot of hands in Dallas that need the ball. And I don't know who's always passing that ball.
Right. Yeah. That's where I was seeing that so much in these like mock predictions that Dallas should take Miles because Paige needs the ball in her hands more and Arike needs the ball in her hands more, and like no one's passing. And so it's interesting. Like everyone's like, if Dallas is smart, they should go Miles. So we're the smart ones now, I guess.
Dallas is weird. Like
I'm not putting
refuse to
Dallas
say
above
Dallas
the
is
Lynx.
Smart.
Well, it's
Like
it's not the
I
Dallas you're used to with
right, but
Miller
like the
and
Lan and
Fernandez,
Jess
but-
contracts, I'm going to preface this by saying I think they are delightful people, and I am glad they got paid. But
Negative
designating
comment
like
about
30%
Jessica Shepard
of
from
your
Andrew
contract,
incoming.
no, like designating like what?
Get ready to yell at Andrew Lynx
and
fans.
1.1, like designating like 35% of your salary cap to the centers of the Minnesota Lynx.
It's an
That's
overpay for
wild.
Jess, for sure. It's an overpay for Jess, for sure.
It's wild.
And
Um,
it's in terms of cap percentage. I love Jess. I'm happy she's got that.
oh,
back.
I'm ecstatic for Jess. Shout out Nebraska.
But yeah, I'm not. Yo, I don't know where this assignment was not assigned by the teacher before the class was in session tonight, guys. So I don't know where I'm putting Dallas in these final power rankings, but on the list of teams that I think are better than the Lynx right now, and could see them out playing the Lynx for the course of a season, based on everything, based on players who are ready to play now, players who are hurt and coming back, coaching staff, everything. I'm not putting Dallas above the Lynx.
That was kind of my point of this exercise, is to see like how far down the list we would get before it's like,
I'll
in
put the
good
Lynx.
faith can you put this team definitively above, which like I think Dallas is in that. I think like Golden State I would put above the Lynx. I don't know if I'd put Phoenix above the Lynx.
Yeah, Phoenix. I need to spend more time with Phoenix's roster, but
They've got Alyssa Thomas coming.
Seattle certainly not. Portland
Alyssa Thomas
certainly
is
not.
coming back.
Toronto certainly not. Connecticut certainly not. Washington certainly not.
We haven't mentioned LA yet, and LA is interesting.
LA is going to be
Yeah.
fun.
Yep.
They're kind of like Chicago. Like, do they like? Am I wrong to say like it kind of feels like Chicago, where it's like individually a bunch of like players that are proven in the league, but kind of like are all going to be pretty new together, and so it's kind of like I don't know.
It's not wrong. I think there's a little more continuity in LA,
Yeah.
and NECA's going to fit right in.
Right.
Yeah.
But I still don't know how it totally fits together.
I don't either.
I don't know.
And that's kind of where I feel with Chicago too. Like, would I say Chicago's definitively better than the Lynx?
Absolutely not.
Yeah. Like it just, if it works out potentially, but like I can't say that in good.
Like,
and I feel the same way with the Lynx, like or the Sparks. Like there's a case to be made that like what the Hambry, NECA, Plum, and surrounding pieces is going to be really good, but like it also could just be really bad and weird.
They'll be better, but
Better than bad.
they'll be better than bad.
All right, everyone, let's call it there because
I don't
we're
know.
going on like 50 minutes and it's midnight.
And I think this podcast was better than bad. And I'm
podcast, I
happy to
will say, I think you chimed it first last year of like we don't know if we're giving you good entertainment, but we are giving you entertainment. So
right.
That's the motto I'm going to be living by for a while. I also think we should just like real quick round of applause for Cassidy, who is the women's sports czar over at the Star Tribune. Kind of. I mean, we lost Kent. But we're very excited to have Cassidy.
Well, they really waited on that announcement too, because we found out like
I believe I congratulated you at a
WNBA playoffs. Yeah.
Yeah.
Well,
no, I will make my piece or say my piece, which is that I'm very excited. I've been very lucky, like over the past 2 years that I've been here in Minneapolis, to like get to shadow Kent and just bother him all the time.
Shout
when he
out
was
Kent.
covering, and you guys, and get to meet you guys in that experience. And so yeah, I'm super pumped. Like I know how passionate the fans are, and like can't wait to engage more in those spaces. It's a crazy time to start, but it's kind of throwing it in there, and yeah, super excited and excited for the season.
There's got to be a day
for
this
you.
spring, summer where you cover a Frost game, an Aurora game, and a Lynx game on the same day.
I don't know.
And
See,
and Elle, you should be following with a camera just documenting
Yeah,
every
I'll do a
move.
women in
As
sports
Cassidy
story
goes on.
about you.
Yeah.
that's really
I mean,
meta.
that's a woman in sports.
From Egan
episode
to
right
St.
there.
Paul to downtown Minneapolis.
Yeah.
No,
Cassidy Hetteseimer is tired.
This is a really appropriate wrap up for sort of the Olivia Miles of it all. Is that like when I was like interviewing for this job and like ideating and thinking about it before I started, is like the fact that like I do think it's like going to be a collaborative effort, right? Like we have our sports department has columnists and other reporters, and even like our intern was over there tonight, like getting video from the watch party, and you know, we've got people on other desks like I've worked with already, like our designers, to like make a cool thing about the CBA, and like, well, that was mostly her, but anyway, like I think it's like more of like running point, right? And like Cheryl said, like you gotta have a good quarterback, you gotta have somebody kind of making sure things don't slip between the cracks. So that's what I will hope to do. We'll see. I am also a rookie at it, so I don't know. I've been doing other sports, but this will be my first time in this role. So I will sort of be hopefully Olivia Milesing my way through this first season, and it goes well for both.
Oh
of
yeah.
us. Yeah.
We're all I mean I can speak for all of us. We're all pretty excited to have you on board, and like really happy that it worked out, because I think I can just speak for myself of like, you know, you did such a good job covering high school, and when you did stuff with the Lynx when Kent was taking days off, it was always like really good work, and I was like super hopeful that you would get this position. And yeah, I'm just ecstatic to be working with you closer. Terry, you and me are stuck together. We technically are a part of Hitting the Hardwood, so we'll be putting out stuff on our own side quite a bit. Elle, what's going on with you? How are you? How's things up in that corner?
Well, unfortunately in the TV world, we can't be like all like solo focused on one thing, but I have somehow carved my way into this niche of covering women's sports as much as I possibly can. It's been a nice lane to sit in, and I love that I've met this family on the quad screen right here through it. But yeah, like for those who don't know who are tuning in, I'm expecting a baby next month. So I will be covering the home opener, and then I'll be on maternity leave, and I'll be a fan for the entire regular season and coming back to work hopefully right when the playoff run begins. So yeah, you guys won't see me as much in the press rooms, but you'll see me at the court. So when the 2-seed
Lynx hosts the 7-seed Indiana Fever in the first round of the playoffs, Elle will be back. I will tell all of you.
I'm gonna clip that, Terry.
I mean, Elle's also going to be on the podcast because, quote, I'm not going to have anything to do, is I believe what you said.
Yeah, I think that's
so, having a baby isn't that much work.
You've been misquoting me this whole podcast because you were like, oh, Elle, you asked like the worst question ever, telling Cheryl, like, why are you dumb? That's not what I asked.
No, he implied you called the fans dumb.
I implied that the fans were dumb.
Right.
I actually think, like, honestly, I think that was like the best question and got like the best reaction out of Cheryl. Like,
just
the sarcasm, the stand-up comedian
at the beginning, at the end of this podcast. Great job, guys.
Oh my God. Anyways,
I'm gonna the reason we get to do this work.
Gonna get closure.
They waited for this YouTube video for over an hour.
They have things typed out in the chat, just waiting to hit send in case that we didn't readdress that I was mean. So I apologize, but also genuinely love the questions. I also was really happy you asked about Balloon Gate. Terry, anything you have to plug before we get out of here?
Anything.
Whoa. That was the ghost of Andrew attacked me for talking back. I filed a story for the 9 Sports like an hour ago or something. That should be up on the 9sports.com by morning. I'm going to write something again for Hitting the Hardwood tomorrow. I'm just going to keep on writing. And if you haven't heard yet, I'll stop talking about it at some point, I promise. But I'm writing a book, and there's already too much material on this season. It might need to be a series with the page count of Game of Thrones by like May 10th, it sounds like. So it's going to be fun.
This season specifically. It'll be a braided narrative, but
so manifest a great season for Terry to write about.
Yeah. Even so, if they suck, will you guys please promise to buy it still? Because I promise it will be my best writing ever. But that was how I pitched it. I was just like, the story of a season is always a great story, no matter whether the team's great or not. And I like in the back of my mind, I'm like, they're gonna be great. It's fine. Then a bunch of people left, and I'm just so not worried about it. It's gonna be good. I promise. It's gonna be good.
I'm not anxious. You're anxious.
No, never. The 9sports.com, Hitting the Hardwood, Lynx happy hour every week. Let's go.
Awesome. If people joined into this late, Dustin says sign Tosh Crowd. I also agree with you, Dustin, and everyone who has joined into this late, I also think would agree with you. Love Tosh. Anyways, back on track. If you joined into this late, it does get posted up on YouTube and lives on forever on X. As soon as we end the stream, it will come out as a podcast. We're a minute away from April 14th, so technically tomorrow morning at 7 a.m., but thank you everyone for tuning in. We'll probably be doing another one of these later this week or for sure after the first couple days of training camp. So appreciate y'all, and we'll catch you on the next one.
Peace.